If you're a British expat living abroad, you might think you've left UK tax obligations behind. But here's the reality: from April 6, 2025, new long-term UK resident rules mean your overseas assets could still be subject to UK inheritance tax, even if you haven't lived in Britain for years. Today we're breaking down everything you need to know about these critical changes. From April 6, 2025, the old domicile rules are being replaced with new long-term UK resident rules. You're considered a long-term UK resident if you've been tax resident in the UK for either 10 consecutive years, or a total of 10 years or more within the previous 20 years. Here's what catches people out: if you're a long-term UK resident, your worldwide assets, including property in Spain, investments in Switzerland, or bank accounts in the US, could all fall under UK inheritance tax at 40%. So, will your overseas assets be taxed by the UK? The answer depends on your long-term UK resident status. If you're a long-term UK resident, your entire global estate is subject to UK IHT when you make a transfer of assets or die. That villa in Portugal? Taxable. Your investment portfolio? Taxable. Even life insurance policies held abroad can be caught. Many expats assume that because they're non-resident, they're exempt. That's a costly mistake. Long-term resident status is what determines your IHT liability on overseas assets. Here's the critical part: you can still keep long-term UK residence for up to 10 tax years after you leave the UK. However, this is shorter if you haven't lived in the UK for all the previous 20 years. If you previously lived in the UK for 10 to 13 years, you'll stop being a long-term UK resident 3 years after you leave. If you lived there for 14 years, it's 4 years after you leave. And if you lived there for 15 years or more, it's 5 years or longer after you leave. Let me give you a real-world example. Take James, a British citizen who lived and worked in the UK for 15 years. In 2026, he retires to Portugal. Because he was UK resident for 15 years, he'll stop being a long-term UK resident 5 years after leaving, in 2031. But here's what's critical: if James dies at any point within those first 10 years after leaving, say in 2034, his entire worldwide estate is still caught by UK IHT at 40%. His family would face a massive tax bill on assets he thought were protected simply by living abroad. You must survive the full 10 years to escape completely. Now here's where it gets even more complex. If James returns to the UK after 10 consecutive years of non-residence, the 10 out of 20 years residence test is reset. Only the year he returns and future years of residence count towards his UK residence. So if he returns in 2039, the clock starts fresh, and those previous 15 years in the UK no longer count against him. There's one exception: if you had deemed UK domicile status on October 30, 2024, and you're non-resident for the 2025 to 26 tax year and don't return, you'll stop being a long-term UK resident after just 3 years of non-residence. So what can you do to reduce your family's exposure? First, determine your long-term UK resident status. The rules changed on April 6, 2025. Second, understand the tail period based on your UK residence history. 10 to 13 years means 3 years. 14 years means 4 years. 15 years or more means 5 years or longer. Third, review existing trusts. Overseas assets placed in trust while non-UK domiciled may be protected if they remain overseas. Fourth, explore legitimate planning tools like properly structured trusts, life insurance policies written in trust, and gifting strategies. Fifth, document everything. HMRC looks at multiple factors, and poor planning can be challenged. Finally, act now. These 2025 changes create both opportunities and risks. Early planning gives you options, last-minute scrambling rarely works. At Elysium Wealth Advisors, we specialize in international financial planning for expats across Europe and beyond. We understand the complexities of cross-border wealth management under these new 2025 rules. Don't let outdated assumptions cost your family. Book a consultation today to review your position and explore strategic solutions tailored to your circumstances. Visit our website or contact us directly. Protect your legacy. Plan with confidence.